Okay. Says I'm live. Am I? Am I live or what? Oh, okay. Here we go. I think I am. Yeah, I am. Okay. All right, folks. Guess what? I'm fucking live. Okay. Well, um, I made the last minute decision to just get online tonight, just because. Um, a couple of reasons. I mean, so obviously, I this past weekend has been shite as far as me being online for whatever tech reasons or weather reasons, health reasons. Just so I was able to get through December and most of January with a pretty steady schedule. Though I knew, you know, with the semester starting and having to do coverage overtime because of low staffing, blah 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 blah. I had a feeling February, at the start of February, things were potentially going to be dicey at best. So whatever planning I can try and do, I will still try to do. I'm trying to think or figure out maybe a better schedule so that I'm not pushing myself too hard or whatever. Long story short, I mean, I did a show Thursday night, which was again sort of somewhat surprising because I was just long day at work. Just felt like I needed to get home, play some music, whatever. Friday had weather related things with the house, etc. that I needed to kind of handle, and then of course Saturday the big freeze. I'm no longer a spring chicken and I used to love the cold. I actually used to prefer the cold. I could somehow handle it better when I was younger than the heat. Um, yeah, those days are gone apparently. So like obviously, I've just noticed as I've gotten older that my tolerance to cold has definitely taken a nosedive, and I yesterday with the below zero temperatures, which are just fucking nuts. I mean, I was fine. Thankfully, the house was fine. Heat was on it. I did. One of the things that was happening on Friday night was that power was flickering. I needed to make sure my boiler wasn't going to go out and all that. Long story short, that's kind of why wasn't able to do the Friday. I wanted to make sure that I was available to make sure everything was cool, or not cool, but warm, and everything was working and not going to go out on me and blah blah blah. So anyway, then Saturday happened, and again, the house is fine. Me not so much, and I had to go to work, so I had to kind of go out into the cold, and I don't think that helped matters much. At one point during the day, I just went next door to the store so I could get something to drink, and I might not have put my big coat on. I thought, okay, so it'll take me 2 minutes to go back and forth, and yeah, like they say, it's like, well, motherfucker, it's cold out. So from that point on, I sort of sabotaged myself. The cold just sort of entered, that cold that enters your bones, and you just, no matter what you do, no matter how much tea you drink or how much heat you put on yourself, or run your hands under hot water or whatever the fuck, you're just shivering. And for me, it just affected my joints and my muscles. I was just a mess yesterday. So I just it was distracting, and I in my head, and I just like, I can't. I just gotta fucking bail tomorrow as well. So I wasn't sure what I was gonna do. I'm still I'm better today. I was warmer today, so things are a lot better today in general. Obviously, the house is still warm. It's a lot warmer out, so I'm not 100%. But I thought, so one of the other things that prompted me to go live was so tonight is the Grammy Awards ceremonies, and I as I I always kind of do a cursory look at what's happening with the Grammys. Uh, you know, such as they are. I mean, the last Grammys that I was really excited to see um, was when Gautier and Kimbra were up for Song of the Year back in, this would have been 2012 or 13, I think I forget what, I think 2012 maybe. And I remember watching it live, and they won live, and so that was like that kind of must see sort of awards type whatever. Um, there was a few nominations this year that again, I always there's always a few things in there that are sort of like, oh, okay, I can get behind that one. Or that said, I mean, we're talking like 98, 99% of everything that was nominated. So I have no idea. I have like it's all stuff I can't really, for the most part, get behind. Like all the music that I was all of the new music that I was listening to, or discovering of new artists, got roundly ignored. Pretty much, and it's sort of like, it's the Grammys being, kind of being their ever corporate selves. It's like, the corporate spectacle that is the Grammy Awards these days. Um, I mean, so on that being said, the thing that's weird too is that, like, the largest part of the awards ceremony, and it goes on like all afternoon, because it's a lot of award. I mean, they've split everything up into these multiple granular, detailed, awards, and it's sort of like, the best, best outfit worn by a keyboard player at 10:45 during the recording session of the, I mean, it's just like, it's fucking ridiculous. It's like, so many different genres within styles within genres that like get their own award now, and it's just like, okay, I mean, you just want to just give out a participation award like everybody else does now, if that's what you're going to do. I mean, that being said, do I believe in the competitive nature of the Grammy Awards? I do not. Music is a subjective experience, and the idea that just because something sells a million copies of something does not necessarily mean it's good music. You know, so so that said, a few things that have won. As I kind of look at there's like during the day on various sites, they'll go through and they'll make the big, so you don't have to watch it for hours and hours on end. But I did watch a little bit of it, and I just find it sad because, like, they're in this auditorium, which is like actually across the street from the main auditorium, the one that they're going to show on mainstream television tonight. And it's a smaller auditorium, and there's like hardly any people there. There's people. It's like a, it's just like, it looks so just like, what is the point? It just sort of like, it's a pageant for no one, it seems. The few people that are there to actually potentially grab an award, and then there's the other half that like don't show up because guess what? They weren't fucking invited. They weren't afforded their potential moment to shine on streaming TV, if not live TV, and just sort of just kind of hack. I mean, kind of hack, and it's a shame because some of the things that were up, and that it's where they do all the classical stuff. It's where they do all the engineering stuff, which I keep track of. That's where they do all. I mean, it's literally where they do 95% of all the, or what is it? It's there was a number. It was like 90, something like 95 awards, and like they're really, when the awards have started, I think it's about 8 o'clock. It's they're only giving out 12 awards during the main ceremony. It's fucking nuts. Pageant for No One is a great song. Maybe, yeah, maybe it is. Hey Andy, how you doing, man? So I just you know, I try to keep track. I try to keep up on things, and I'm just so underwhelmed, unfortunately, by just so much new stuff. And I've tried. I mean, I really do. I do try to expose myself to to some newer stuff, just to potentially have at least a sense of what the fuck is going on. I just don't get a sense that there's a lot of real anything going on apart from just stuff that's put together by feels like put together by AI or just sort of Frankenstein together in Logic or Pro Tools that has less to do with like songwriting and performing. I know that's a broad statement and it's probably untrue, but it just feels that way, at least with the mainstream part of things. So that said, I tuned in a little bit just to kind of see. So the things that I was keeping track of, there was a couple of awards that I was interested in. So again, mostly the things like the engineering awards or the producer awards. There's a producer and or mastering engineer that I've worked with. That Andy we worked with. Oh no, actually no. Did we work with him? Oh yes, we did. That's right. It was I forgot. Yeah, Mark Donahue, who did the initial pass of mastering my friend Andy's record, and has also mastered a number of records that I did with Marilyn Mayer and with who else? Well, mostly with Marilyn Mayer actually. I think that's so. He his main stock and trade is recording and engineering classical stuff. Again, based in Boston at Sound Mirror, and he goes all over the world and he's recorded multiple classical records. He has multiple nominations. I'm not sure if he's actually has any wins or not, but he gets nominated just about every year for something. And so sure enough, he was up for I forget it was a which it was a I want to say it was a Beethoven album of some sort. He did not win. It's just one of those things. But it's it's sort of the name drop of one I can say. Yeah, we worked with Emmy nominated, Grammy nominated producer Mark Donahue. So that said, I mean, like I said, classical is a stock and trade. The fact that he would still potentially master and or engineer a master for like a rock and roll record seems odd to me, I suppose. But like and he actually did mine as well. He did Taken Orally for me, both the stereo and the mono. Preferred the mono as I did, so that's kind of cool. But yes, I'm drinking my Virgil's root beer. Product placement. Anyway, so he did not win. I was also looking at in the dreaded Americana genre, whatever the fuck that even means, which is just this sort of ragtag idea that like whatever it's a lazy ass critic born descriptive that I find utterly fucking insulting because it means nothing. It means nothing, and it's just because it's an amalgam of different things like folk rock, pop, songwriting, country. It's an amalgam of all of these things, and they came up with this lame title because they couldn't think of anything better, and because the critics could just sort of these are people that were born in America, so it must be Americana, whatever, dude. It's calling something that like Taylor Swift done Americana, please. I mean, it's pop music. I mean, come on, let's just call it for what it is. It's just it is, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just it is what it is, But there was an album, I haven't heard it, but it was a various artists tribute to Michael Nesmith called Silver Moon, of people doing his work. So that was a nice nod to Nez. Did not win because Bonnie Raitt won, because of course she did, because she wins all the time for these kinds of things, because she's the corporate go-to. I mean, no diss to Bonnie Raitt. I actually like Bonnie Raitt, but she's the safe bet, right? So yeah, like no one's gonna complain about her winning that category, right? The comedy category is always never more contentious than this year, I suppose. People like Dave Chappelle with The Closer, Louis C.K. with his return was nominated. I forget what it was called actually, but Then Patton Oswalt's show, which I thought was the best one of the ones that I saw, because I did not watch the Louis C.K. one. Who else? Randy Rainbow. I did not. I did not see that one. He's not really my cup of tea. So sure enough, Dave Chappelle won. Again, I think at this point, no matter how controversial he is the safe corporate bet. God knows if they were going to give it to Louis C.K., the backlash of that one. To be honest, they should have given it to fucking Patton Oswalt because he deserved it. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. Then there was the folk stuff. Actually, I've got the list here just to kind of go through them. So, and there's a few that I could get behind. So, like record of the year, "Don't Shut Me Down" by ABBA, and that was their reunion thing, and that's pretty cool. Let's see. Wait a minute. Did they win? Oh no, those are the nominees. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. They haven't won. That's okay. These are not. No, wait. I'm confused. Those are the nominees. Those are not the. Oh, okay. I see what they've done. Sorry, I'm looking at the Variety website, which is kind of all over the place a little bit. This is actually not the one I wanted. It does go through all of the various, nominees, but it's not saying. Oh, okay. Here we go. So, if we're looking at what was given out, I see they're not in any particular order. I think that's part of the problem. Is that I want to get something. I want to get a list of what has already been. Oh, come on, dude. Okay, and of course, things are just being stupid up here, as usual. Fucking websites are stupid. Hang on one second. Let's see. Yeah, I want to listen to fucking winners, goddammit. Quit being a pain in the ass. So here we go. Winners list. That's what I'm looking for. Because they're doing it in real time. That's what I want. Yeah, see, they're doing it in the order that they were given out in the original thing. I don't want to go through the whole thing, but so best traditional pop vocal album, Mike Bublé. Never heard of him. I mean, I know who he is, but I'm not. Yeah, no big deal. Best dance electronic recording, Break My Soul, Beyonce. The corporate safe mode. Best contemporary instrumental album, Snarky Puppy. I did see this one given out. Whatever. It's sort of like weird, trippy, hippie instrumental music along the lines of like Grateful Dead stuff, but just with no lyrics. Best rock performance, Broken Horses by Brandi Carlile. Here's the thing. I wouldn't call her rock at all. She's more of a country pop artist. It's like, that's what I'm talking about. It's just like the genres don't make any fucking sense. Now this one I can get behind. Best metal performance, Degradation Rules by Ozzy Osbourne featuring Tony Iommi. So it's a mini Black Sabbath reunion. I can get behind that one. So that one works for me. Best rock song, Broken Horses, Brandi Carlile. Same thing. I find her annoying. I'll be honest. I find her annoying. And it's kind of in the same way that I find Bob Seger annoying. I can't place why. I just find I find her annoying. Like when she was introducing Joni Mitchell at the Newport Folk Fest this past summer, it's like there was this self-aggrandizement that like she pulled that all together, right? And it's like, maybe she did, but I don't give a fuck. I'm here to watch Joni. I don't care what your point of view is about it regarding Joni. Everybody knows who Joni is. We don't need to know that she's your blah, 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 blah. Because here's the thing. You went up on that stage and said Bonnie Raitt is your idol. So this is one that I saw her just about an hour ago. So now, but you have said in the past, Joni Mitchell's your idol. Okay, come on. Just stop kissing people's ass. And anyway, annoying. This is going to be the old man's grumpy version of Bundle of Sunshine here. So anyway, best rock album I can get behind, Patient Number 9 by Ozzy Osbourne. considering the recent news that Ozzy is having to retire from touring because of his health, which is real sad because he clearly that it's clearly killing him, inside not to be able to do the tour he was trying to do. Um, that he can still put out a record as good as the latest one is. Ozzy is one of those guys whose facility with melody has never been like, as far as metal goes. He's really up there, and he said it before. It's like, his bellwether is the Beatles as far as that goes. So he's got good. He's looked up to the right people regarding melody, and he has kept that tradition alive for a long time. And his voice has stood the test of time as well. So good on your Ozzy, for sure. Makes me want to go out and actually buy the record, which I haven't yet, but I think I might, Okay, so best alternative music performance and best alternative music album by a band called Wet Leg. So don't know who they are. Apparently they're up for best artist of the year as well. So, I might write it down as like, okay, who are they? I'll try and see and find out who they are. Maybe there's something there. I don't know. It's alternative music. So, what the corporate entity mindset considers alternative music has been spotty over the years. Best R&B performance, Hours and Hours by Mooney Long. Don't know who she is. Best traditional R&B performance, Plastic Off the Sofa, Beyonce. Corporate safety. Best progressive R&B album. See, this is what I'm talking about. Progressive R&B. What the fuck is that? Exactly. What is progressive R&B? Like, pick one. Anyway, Gemini Rights by Steve Lacy. Don't know who he is. Best R&B album, Black Radio 3, Robert Glasper. Don't know who he is. Best rap performance, Heart Part 5. I know Kendrick Lamar. And actually respect him very much, but he won Best Rap Performance. Still not my cup of tea. Best Melodic Rap Performance, Wait For You, Future featuring Drake. I know Drake and Thames. Not my cup of tea. Best Rap Song by also Kendrick Lamar, songwriters, etc. Best Country Solo Performance, Live Forever by Willie Nelson. Again, it's one of those, same like the Bonnie Raitt thing. It's like safe bet by the corporate entities. No one's going to argue with a song called Live Forever by Willie Nelson, Best Country Solo Performance. So yeah, that works. Best Country Duo Group Performance, Never Wanted to Be That Girl, Carly Pierce, Ashley McBride. I know the names, don't know who they are. Best Country Song, Till You Can't, Matt Rogers. I have no idea. Best New Age Ambient or Chant Album. Like, okay, can you pick one? Best New Age Ambient or Chant Album? Where has there ever been a fucking genre of chant? I mean, it's like they're falling all over themselves to just include everybody that should be included. There's a way of doing it, but just the way that they do it is, I find, cloying and ridiculously weird. Anyway, it's Mystic Mirror by White Sun. Never heard of him. Best Improvised Jazz Solo, Endangered Species, Wayne Shorter. Of course, so that makes sense to me. And Leo Genovese, soloist. That's fine. Best Jazz Vocal Album, Linger a While, Samara Joy. I think I've heard the name. Don't know who she is. Best Jazz Instrumental Album. Don't know who any of these people are. Terry Lynn Carrington, Chris Davis, Linda May. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. No idea who these people are. Best Large Jazz Ensemble Album. Generation Gap, Jazz Orchestra, same thing. It's all newer stuff that I'm just not familiar with. Latin Jazz, certainly not something I tend to follow. Best Gospel Performance, and don't know who any of these people are. Contemporary Christian, good Lord, don't go there. Best Gospel Album, Best Contemporary Christian, Gospel, God. Oh, this is it. Though it's kind of interesting. Best Roots Gospel Album, The Herbal Hymnal by the Tennessee State University Marching Band. I almost want to look into that just for the sheer sort of like, really, a marching band. Okay. Best Latin Pop Album, Ruben Blades. Okay, I can get behind that. Best Latin Rock Alternative Album, Rosalia. Never heard of her. Regional Mexican Music Album, including Tejano. Never heard of it. Best Tropical Latin Album, Mark Anthony. I've heard of him. Best American Roots Performance, Aaron Neville, Dirty Dozen Brass Band. I can certainly get behind that. Best Americana performance, Bonnie Raitt. I was mentioning that earlier. Best American Roots song, Bonnie Raitt, songwriter. Best Americana album. See, okay, right here. In These Silent Days by Brandi Carlile. Okay, is she fucking rock or is she fucking Americana? Pick one, motherfucker. Jesus Christ. It's like, it's so fucking annoying. Yeah, this is the grumpy old man version. Welcome to the bundle of sunshine here on Sunday. So it shows I'm feeling better from yesterday because I didn't have enough energy to do this. Usually that means if I'm in the mood to be grumpy, that means I'm feeling better. So just there's that. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna be a little grumpy about shit because I'll be honest. When I was a younger person, I thought the Grammy Awards was the end all be all of things, and then 40 years of kind of following it and realizing it's like, oh, not really. It's not a bellwether to what makes good music. Some of the winners are accidental, yesterday Nirvana got like a Lifetime Achievement Award, Grammy or whatever, and of course all the surviving members were there. I can't help but think that if Cobain was still alive, that he'd go, what the fuck are you people doing? No, I'm not going to the fucking Grammys for a Lifetime Achievement Award. I would have liked to have thought that he would have remained true to his non-corporate sort of mentality in that regard. Alas, we won't know. Anyway, Best Bluegrass Album, Molly Tuttle, I've heard. Best Traditional Blues Album, Get On Board, Taj Mahal, Ry Cooder, that makes sense. Still kind of corporate safe, but I can get behind that again. Best Contemporary Blues Album, Brother Johnny Edgar Winter for sure. Best Folk Album, Revealer, Madison Cunningham. Now, I hadn't heard of her. I did, though, catch she did play or do a song for the show that was streaming, before the main show. And it's very, ethereal kind of bass, wearing the long dress and playing a really ancient, horrible sounding harmony guitar, but with a full orchestra behind her and all that, very ethereal, kind of very, folk, I don't know, folk ethereal. To me, I think it's got folk roots in there somewhere, but to call it folk, I think is a stretch in my mind. So, like that's maybe one of those areas that actually needs a little bit of splitting up. Folk has become such a huge, and I don't, and this is what I'm talking about, the whole Americana bullshit. It's like, they could easily create a folk ethereal. I don't know. Maybe that's too much too. I don't know. It's the reason why I'm not in charge of these things. Anyway, but it was interesting, if sort of flat, not a lot of dynamics in the thing that she played, and it was clearly designed that way to be kind of like, it was pleasant enough, but it drew me in for the first like minute, and then I kind of got bored. You know what I mean? It's like, and I think what it was is like in watching that, is what kind of it kind of went in my head as to why I wanted to just come up here and just rant to nobody, because I felt I needed to just get it out of my fucking head. When you have artists such as Aldous Harding from New Zealand, who released her 4th album this past year called Warm Chris. It's not. I don't think it's her strongest album, to be honest. I think the one before it is her strongest album. It's called Designer. That was done the year before, and her music is like same thing. It's like, what would you call it? It's definitely folk based, but it's ethereal, and it's got rock elements and things, but it has a hell of a lot more going for it in the folk category than this person's stuff did. However, Aldous Harding is also, I think, an acquired taste for some people, because she's kind of weird, especially her videos. I've shared a couple of things up on Facebook from YouTube, of some YouTube videos of Aldous Harding. I thought tonight is a good night. So, like, if anybody, up on Instagram or up here on YouTube, after the show, go ahead and check out Aldous Harding. She is, again, from New Zealand, very like, it's not upbeat music, put it that way. It's very, introspective and ironic and very edgy, but very edgy, like very kind of in your face edgy in a way, in an odd way. I I just before I came up here, I shared a piece of hers called Fixture Picture. The video for that, again, that was from her last album called Designer. And what I wrote about it, I feel like in my head, I felt like I kind of figured out what it is about her that I find so intriguing. I basically wrote, as the Grammys play out its corporate spectacle, I'm going to share some things that I find groundbreaking in an oddly familiar way. Aldous Harding released her fourth album, To a Quiet Multitude, last year. She is that rare creature of ethereal beauty and fright that you can't look away from, mesmerized by the haunted nature of the music as well as her visual presentations. Absolutely beyond the simplified pablum fed to the masses. This is from her third album, Designer. You have to watch it. It's hard to explain what it is about her, other than the fact that her music is, and her visual presentation is utterly hypnotic and mesmerizing. It's one of those things that not only does it draw you in, like, put it this way, it draws you in such a way that's very uncomfortable, but in the most exquisite way. It's like, like this one, but there's another one called Zoo Eyes that is there's no way to describe how utterly odd and just so it's so, I mean, talk about dreamlike, if you want to talk videos that have a real dreamlike quality, but like done in a really great way. It's Zoo Eyes. As a matter of fact, what I could do, just for shits and giggles, I could put it. I can just put it up here, so for people who might be up on here, I can just to show. I'm not going to play it because I think it would get flagged, obviously. But I can. What am I doing? So, yeah, Aldous Harding. She's got 4 albums out. She started off, very typically kind of extremely folky, but you can hear all of them here on YouTube. Everything's here. And I would start from the beginning. So her first album is just called Aldous Harding. That's not what I want. Something I want to do. And her second album is called Party, which is another really great album. I think it's like, you can see kind of the progression. And then Designer, which so far I think is my favorite of hers. Warm Chris, I think I need to listen to a couple more times. I think it might be that kind of album that like will sneak up on me and just sort of be, I think that some of the themes on Warm Chris aren't quite as in your face or whatever. Put it this way: she has a song titled "What If the Birds Aren't Singing but Are Screaming," something like that. Paraphrasing. I mean, what a great fucking song title! Are you kidding? What if the birds aren't singing? What if they're screaming? Oh my God, it's like that. Just the title of that fucking like sends a shiver up my spine. Anyway, so the reason why I bring up Aldous Harding is because of that whole Grammy thing. It just sort of, it just stuck in my craw a bit. It's just like, yeah, she's not, I want to say she's not Grammy material, but her music is better than any of the shit that I was hearing. You know, and as far as I'm concerned, the last real good oddball out of left field thing that won was the Gautier song back in 2012. So somebody I used to know. It was wacky. But it was poppy and it was simple and it was just and it was an earworm and it got in your head and it sold bazillion copies or whatever it was and it deserved every fucking win it got. As did the album that it came from. And then he proceeded not to do every 10 years later he is still quiet as a dormouse. Anyway, yeah. So that's that rant. Going further into stuff that's won so far. What did I? Oh, sorry. Oh, right. Okay. So, best regional roots music album live at 2022 New Orleans Jazz Heritage Festival. Ranky Tanky. Don't know who the hell that is. Best reggae album. The Calling, Kabaka Pyramid. Never heard of him. Global music performance. Same thing. Never heard of him. Global music album. Children's music album. The Alphabet Rockers. Don't know. Okay. So, next up was the best audiobook narration storytelling recording, called Finding Me by Viola Davis, Rhode Island's own Viola Davis. So that was another one. Like I didn't know she was nominated, but I saw a headline that basically said that Viola Davis is now officially in the EGOT club. EGOT meaning Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony win. And I think it said I think she's like the 23rd person who's ever done that ever. So, and I want to say. No, Whoopi's the first black woman, I think. So that would make her the second. I think that's correct anyway. And on the heels of that, so just up on Facebook, seeing that the passing of Adrian Hall, who used to run Trinity Repertory Theater, so saw that he had passed away and then saw that she had won this thing. So it was like, that's sort of talk about the universe being yin-yang as far as like Rhode Island goes, First there's some bad news, then there's some good news, and then so it's just like the total kind of thing. But anyway, it's best spoken word poetry album. I saw him get this award. Don't know who it was. I've never heard him before. Poet Who Sat by the Door. Best comedy album, The Closer by Dave Chappelle. Saw that. Best musical theater album, Into the Woods by Sarah Bareilles. So that's something interesting, that she's made that track for herself. This will be the second thing she's done on Broadway. So she did Waitress first. Best compilation soundtrack, Encanto. Score soundtrack, Encanto. Score soundtrack for video games. Okay, there you go. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Best song written for visual media. I'm surprised that this did not go to Taylor Swift. It actually went to We Don't Talk About Bruno from Encanto, which is Lin-Manuel Miranda. So I'll get behind that one for sure. Best instrumental composition, Refuge, Jeffrey Keyser, no idea. Best arrangement, instrumental or a cappella, Scrabble from the Apple, John Beasley, arranger, no idea who they are. So best arrangement, instrument, and vocal, Songbird, or orchestral version. Songbird being the song by Christine McVie via Fleetwood Mac. So she kind of won posthumously in that regard. Best recording package, best boxed or limited edition, went to a Grateful Dead record apparently. Best album notes went to Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. Best historical album, best historical album, Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. Again, 20th anniversary, super deluxe. Songwriter of the year, Tobias Jesso Jr. No idea who that person is. Best engineered album, non-classical, Harry's House. Nah, don't know who any of these people. Oh, it's for Harry Styles album. Producer of the year, non-classical, Jack Antonoff, who I do know. He has actually been I don't mean this as a pun or anything. He has been instrumental in a number of the albums I've listened to in the past year. That actually, he's produced a number of people. Like he's Saint Vincent. He's worked with Kimbra. He has worked with a number of other female artists that are actually quite good. So somehow he has a bit of a good time. He's won a number of times as well, as if I'm remembering well enough. Best remixed recording, Lizzo. Whatever. She's a character. Whatever. Best immersive audio album. Says Divine Tides. Now, this is something that Stuart Copeland of The Police was involved in, so I can get behind that. Best engineered album, classical. This is the one I was mentioning that did not win for Mark Donahue. Producer of the Year, classical, Judith Sherman. Best orchestral performance, works by Florence Price. Blah blah blah. Let's see. Best opera recording, best choral performance, best chamber music. This is all the classical stuff. Instrumental solo, classical solo vocal, best classical compendium, contemporary classical. So best music video. All Too Well, the short film. Of course, Taylor Swift won. So I had a feeling that was going to happen. And then best music film, Jazz Fest, a New Orleans Story. So that was the pre-Grammy thing. And the Grammys are going on as we speak. So it's sort of like, who's winning what at what time at this point. Things like, basically what it comes down to is like, so the big name things that they're doing. So record of the year, that's what I was mentioning before. So record of the year, people that are nominated are ABBA, Adele, Beyonce, Mary J. Blige, again with the Brandy Carlisle featuring Lucius, Doja Cat, Steve Lacy, Kendrick Lamar, Lizzo, Harry Styles. I mean, so pretty much everybody that's a safe bet. That's the rounded out corporate safe bet for everything. And album of the year is pretty much the same. ABBA, Adele, Bad Bunny, Beyonce. And the list of producers on Beyonce's record is fucking stupid. I'm sorry, it's just fucking stupid. Good Morning Gorgeous, same thing with Mary J. Blige. The list of fucking producers is ridiculous. In These Silent Days, Brandy Carlisle. Music of the Spheres, Coldplay, Kendrick Lamar, Lizzo again, Harry Styles, Song of the Year, Sarah Davis, Lizzo again, Taylor Swift, of course, Harry Styles, Steve Lacy, Beyonce again, Adele. It's all the same fucking people. It's just like, so here it is. Yeah, best new artist, Anita, no idea. Omar Apollo, Domi, and JD. Blah, 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 blah. Haven't heard of any of these fucking people. Best pop solo performance, Adele. It's the same fucking people. Like, there's no. It's the same people. It's like, I'm sorry. It's like, it's just kind of. I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's just like it's all the same shit. There's just no real. It's the same type of shit too. There's like, what they call kind of genre, specific, and it's just like it's all shit that sounds the same. Best metal performance, again, Ozzy Osbourne won that one. Best rock album, Patient Number 9 won that one. Good. Oh, these are from, I've already mentioned these before. Wet Leg, best movie, best we saw that one. Oh, okay, so basically, so that's kind of where we're at. I've updated to where we're at this point. Yeah, it's just sort of, it's just kind of not worth the time at this point. I hate to say it, but it really isn't. And that's a shame, because there's so much more fucking music out there that's actually worth something, that's actually trying hard to be, I don't know. I mean, it's hard. I guess it gets harder and harder. I mean, the music business as it is these days is so fragmented, it's not even funny. And if nothing else, the Grammy Awards is the perfect encapsulation of that. So, yeah, I don't know. It's 8:45. I've been ranting for 45 minutes. I'm I don't know. I wasn't planning on playing, to be honest, just because I'm kind of I'm still stuffy. Again, I'm not 100%. I'm not 100%. I think I might still just forego playing tonight. I don't know. Um, so I just felt the need to go online and just kind of rant for an hour or whatever, and then I'll go away. So that being said, I'm looking at my week ahead here, and yeah, this coming week is fucking stupid. I work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week, um, and then Saturday. So, uh, trying to find potential time to do a show. Maybe Friday night, maybe Saturday night, maybe Sunday night. Again, it comes down to how utterly exhausted I am from work. And the following week is a little bit different. The following week is 4 straight days of work. I get then have a half day on the 17th, and then I will be going to see Kimbra in Boston on the 17th. And then I have 3 days off. So it's a long weekend next weekend. I'm sorry, not next weekend, but the following weekend. And so I'm hoping to maybe get in a few, kind of make updates for shows during that. Then I got a short week, and then February is almost over already. So yeah, so it's all good. I mean, minor quibbles and potholes and things aside. I've been making some progress this week in the financials department, which is a good thing. Again, I don't want to speak too hard on it because I don't want to jinx it. And hopefully more information to come on that score. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So I think the other thing, again, I'm trying to figure out is, um, it inevitably comes down to whether or not this is something that anybody wants. I have my stalwart fans here that kind of come up and kind of hover a little bit, but it's also comes down to like, well, it's for now until I can get some real traction here, and part of what I need to be doing, I think, is the things that I said I was going to be doing, and this is hard to do during the work week. I've got to get again, I've been working. I've had to do certain things that have gotten in the way of like getting the creative stuff a little more kind of at the forefront. So like right now, getting my financials back on track, so I can kind of get back on my feet and get things stabilized. Then I start to work on getting the Kickstarter out for the single. I want to get that out. I'd like to get that out by the end of February if I can. No later than the end of March. I really, because part of it is like, I need to, I don't know what the pressing plant, delay times are at this point. I would need to find out. I mean, I'm not doing a ton of them, but, I want to do at least 300. And I don't even that might be too, maybe even 200 might be enough, to be honest. Hey, I would rather have 200 and sell out of them than be carrying around like, a ton of CDs. So, or not CDs, singles, whatever. Anyway, so that's that part of the plan. And then, again, once I get a little more stabilized, being able to kind of work again on getting the other projects finished, getting the stuff up on Bandcamp. So I was able to put up the Invisible Years up on Bandcamp, so that is available. Though I do want part of the other thing is that the graphics for all of my older albums, on the media that I have them on, I can't open them up. So I have to potentially either just scan that stuff back in, which I probably will do, and then kind of not recreate them, but just kind of touch them up and get them going, because my originals I can't access because they were created 20 years ago on earlier Mac versions that my newer Mac versions will not read. Excuse me. So yeah, so I think what it comes down to is like I'm working on stuff. I am definitely engaged in stuff. I'm not just sort of sitting in front of the TV eating bonbons or anything like that. I mean, there's a little bit of that, but not to the extent where I've felt the need to do before. as I mentioned in December, this year is a new year. Looking forward to trying to get into better health as much as I can. The ongoing, losing weight and just getting, I mean, so on that score, so far, other than my knees being a fucking mess, though, so long story short, my knees are a mess on one level, but on another level, they're not as bad as I thought. Whatever the fuck that means. I mean, this is from my doctor, and he showed me the X-rays. So apparently, it's not as bad in my head as what I thought they were, just considering the problems I'm having. So I suppose that's a good thing. It means I suppose I'm a little further ahead and trying to get them back on in a better place health wise than I thought I was. And I don't know, go from there. I had like I was finally able to give plasma today, and was told, I finally got the go ahead to do it. My first, very easy to do, and at the end of it, the nurse that came up was, so long story. They filter your blood. They put the blood through the thing. The filter filters the blood. Then it goes into the thing, and it pulls the plasma out of the blood, and then returns it back. Blah 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 blah. It's a long process, but a very simple process. And she said, "Wow, you did really well. Your filter is really clean." And I went, "Really?" Okay, I'll take your word for it. So I was like, "What does it look like?" So I had her show me, and it's just like, apparently, the filter, you'd be able to see the gunk that's in your blood that it filters out. It's just like, oh, that's cool. So and there wasn't much. So I'm doing pretty well, knock wood. I mean, I think not drinking and not smoking has probably helped a lot. Apparently, and oddly, my physical health is actually pretty good considering. Mental health, that's a daily thing, daily maintenance, but is what it is. I feel like I'm doing better with that as well. Once I get my financials stabilized, we'll have the triumvirate of things there potentially. I don't know. So it's yeah, that's where I'm at. I just felt like I needed to kind of come up here and rant to no one, or to the few stalwarts that come up. So I really hope that. Well, so apparently I just saw that meme again today. The little red-haired boy from like 10, 15 years ago who was interviewed at a park or something. And he takes the mic and says, apparently I have never been on television before, and apparently I was on the thing, and it was very scary, but apparently I've never been on live television. I wonder whatever happened to that kid. Anyway, so that's in my head, apparently. Yeah, so this coming week's weather, I mean, it was like 45 fucking degrees today. It was stupid. It's just like, considering the day before was like below zero with a wind chill of multiple below zero. My body can't handle that shit. To be honest, I'm probably going to feel it tomorrow more than I did today. We'll see. But that's fine. Whatever. I can turn the thermostat down again. But then there's supposedly potentially more snow next week or something. I don't know what's going on. I just hope that, like, as far as cold goes, I can do without this cold. I don't live in fucking well, Alaska was apparently warmer than it was here. Figure that, right? Yeah, no, that kind of cold, man. I just can't handle it anymore. Apparently, but I don't like summer either. So I'm just a kvetch. I mean, I'm just sort of like a. I don't like winter anymore. I don't like summer. I don't know, what do I like? I'm not sure what I like. I like a day that's not windy, that's mild, 50 to 55 degrees, no wind, no rain. Perfect day. That's a perfect day to me. That it's not too hot, it's not too cold. These are good. If for no other reason, these rock my world. Okay. Well, here's the thing. I think it probably, if I do nothing else, maybe I should at least since I'm up here, try to do the end song that I always do, because, it does still hold. That, there's still perspective that needs to be had. Here's the kicker. The irony about the Grammys. If there were ever a time where something I recorded or produced or engineered or whatever were to be nominated or whatever, would my corporate line be sort of... my corporate line is the same, but if I were to be invited to Los Angeles to pick it up, yeah, I'd go. Of course I would. Sorry. You can kind of tell the 12 string doesn't like the cold weather either. That one really out. Okay, I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna do this last song and then I'll call it a night. My surprise Grammy rant episode. I'll have to title it as such. The Bundle of Sunshine, February 5th. Grammy rant. Grumpy Grammy rant. Grumpy Grammy rant. Grumpy Grammy rant. Say that 3 times fast. Anyway. Just remember you're standing on a planet that's evolving and revolving at night. Oh, I forgot. I need the capo for this. I knew something sounded funny. Oh, boy. Let's try that again. Just remember that you're standing on a planet that's evolving contains 100 billion stars. It's 100,000 light years side to side. It bulges in the middle, 16,000 light years thick, but out by us it's 33,000 light years wide. We're 30,000 light years from the galactic central point. We go round every 200 million years, and our galaxy is one of only millions of billions in this amazing and expanding universe. The universe itself keeps on expanding and expanding in all of the directions it can whiz, as fast as it can go at the speed of light, 12 million miles a minute, and that's the fastest speed there is. So remember, when you're feeling very small and insecure, how amazingly unlikely is your birth, and pray that there's intelligent life somewhere up in space, because there's bugger all down here on Earth. Present company excluded, as always. However, we all have our moments, don't we? Yes, we do. Okay, my grumpy Grammy rant evening is over. I'm gonna go watch something else because there's nothing else to be excited about for tonight, unfortunately, as far as I'm concerned. As far as the Grammys are concerned, anyway, while I pick my ears. Yeah, but I will probably again. So again, this week's kind of rough. Maybe Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I hope. But it's a heavy work week for me this week. Yeah, I'll see what I can do. I want to try to be able to do more of this. It's just until I'm getting paid to do this as my career. Well, guess what? I have my regular job, and now these little side hustles I'm trying to do to keep the boat floating. You know what I'm saying? So, and I got to keep the boat floating no matter what. Otherwise, I can't do anything. So, got to patch the hole in the boat. Gotta pump out the bilge. Gotta get the thing up in dry dock and repaint things, and again patch the holes and put some new trimming on there and this, that, and the other thing, and fix the steering, especially the steering. The steering and the rudder. Got to fix that shit, and then go from there. So that's where we're at this particular February winter 2023, and Chinese balloons notwithstanding. I figure if the Chinese balloons are going to get us, they're going to get us no matter what we do. We don't have much to say about it, I think, is what it comes down to, because it's Chinese balloons, On that stupid note, I'm going to leave it tonight. Thanks for hanging out. If you have been hanging out, watching me rant about the Grammys and stuff, I'm going to reiterate to please go up online to YouTube, or I'll probably maybe put a few other things up on Facebook tonight before I head to bed. But you want to look up Aldous Harding. Again, she is a sensational artist of uncanny ability, and start from her first album, go all the way through into to her most latest fourth album, and watch all the videos, like not just the ones that she has a lot of video, there's a lot of visual representation of her work, which I think go hand in hand with this particular artist. She doesn't have a video for every single song, but her videos are so unique, as regards the songs that they're married to, that they're just I don't know, I don't have any the superlative chip in my head can't handle how much I really enjoy her work. It's all very purposeful, and it's all very detailed, and it's just beautiful work, not just musically but visually. These days it's harder and harder to find artists that are doing this kind of work. Now, I bring that up because also, Peter Gabriel is all, he's back in the limelight. He's doing a thing now, so he's after literally 20 years of not putting out any new music. He's finally put out some new music starting last month. Last month, yeah, last month. What he's doing, and this is something he's been doing for a number of years. It's called the Full Moon Club. So at every full moon of every month, he is releasing a new song that will encompass a new album. So by the end of the year, there'll be a completed 12-song record, along with the regular. Like he's making available multiple types of mixes up on Bandcamp that you can purchase or have access to. If you join the Full Moon Club, you get emails about it. So, like today's the full moon, so he's released the second of the songs so far. So again, someone whose music and visuals are two things that are very much married together, and I think that's why I like Alice Harding as much as I do, is because she has that kind of thing. I feel like probably the closest thing. I wouldn't call it progressive music though, but it's there's progressive folk, prog folk, whatever you want to call it. It's not psych folk, but it's ethereal. So does ethereal equate with psychedelic psych folk, or too many genres, too many things to think about. I just think, how about just I don't know. I can't think of a genre. So I'm going to leave it to all you to figure out a genre for Aldous Harding. But all I can tell you is that it's someone who I profoundly enjoy her work, and hopefully, though I missed her live last year. She played in Boston in June, and I completely missed the show, so that pisses me off. So I got to keep track of like where she may be touring again, because I really do want to see her live in concert. And there are plenty of clips online of her in concert as well, which, again, you want to search out her playing live in concert. The same thing is it's one of those things, it's hard to say whether or not the persona she puts on when she's on stage is something that's a put on, or that's like, is like a personification of something that's, this is the Aldous Harding on stage, or is she really like that? Because I've seen interviews with her, and it's kind of seems like she's really like that. She's a freaky woman, but like just crazy good. Anyway, I figured I had the big grumpy Grammy rant. I'm gonna throw in the interest of balance, grumpy Grammy negative rant, overflowing praise to Aldous Harding regarding her work. So I'm in balance. I feel I'm in balance. I suggest you go to her various places, buy her music, so that you indeed will also find balance in this barren landscape of the music business. Yeah, there it is. All right. On that note, I'll leave I'll leave it. I've talked enough tonight. I'll see you later. Bye.